YouTube, back today with another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a 3D text in After Effects. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to open up After Effects, click on create new composition. So here you want to set up your composition settings. So right now I'm already in the 1080 sequence, so I don't need to change anything. If you want to do 4K, you could do 3840 by 2160 and you'll have 4K. But for this tutorial I'm just gonna do 1920 by 1080. Then frame rate, want to have it at 24 frames per second or 23.976. Resolution full, and duration I'm gonna leave it at 5 seconds because that's about how long I want it to be. Hit OK. So you're gonna want to start by clicking your type tool and making a text. I'm gonna do tutorial. So now that you have your text, make this a little smaller to fit. Then what you're gonna want to do is turn on your proportional grid and come over here to the text, hit this drop down menu for transform. Then you're gonna want to line up the anchor point to the middle of your text. And your anchor point is this little target in the middle. Then you're gonna want to adjust the position so it fits directly in the center. So you can position your anchor point a little. It's important to have it centered because if you want to do any types of rotations or movement to the text, it'll stick to the center and won't veer off to the side or anything like that. So after you have your text aligned to the middle, you're gonna want to make it a 3D layer by clicking on this little cube here. Then once you have your 3D layer, you're gonna hit this drop down menu to geometry options, change the bevel style to convex, then bump your bevel depth up to about, I would say, between 7 and 10. So I'm gonna do 9. And you can bump your extrusion depth up to about 100. I'm gonna go about 105. Here in this drop down menu for material options, you just have a bunch of other options to play around with to manipulate the text, but we're not going to touch any of that right now just for the sake of the tutorial. Then what you're going to want to do is right click in this open space, new, and add a light. So I'm going to start with the spotlight. See, I already have this stuff set because I previously made the effect. So I'm gonna start with a darker gold, intensity 100, cone angle 90. I'll leave all that stuff the same. Hit OK. So now you have a light. Now you can see your text with a color. Here you have a drop down menu for transform and light options. So with the same options you just edited, you can edit it here. Then you have your transform options, and what I usually like to do is add 2 lights. So I'm gonna adjust this first light and drag it off to the side. And once you have the first light adjusted, you want to collapse the menu, add another light, change the color slightly. I'm gonna go with the lighter golden yellow, and I'm gonna turn the first light off so it doesn't get in the way. Then I'm gonna move the second light around. Get it to a point where I like it. Then you can turn on the first light. Then there you have a 3D text. So now that you have your 3D text, you want it to move, you want to add some motion to it just to show that it's 3D. And here you can toggle on the transparency grid so you can see it without the black background. Actually, in this first light, I'm gonna lighten it up, bump up the intensity. 120 intensity. So then you're gonna want to go into your transform options, toggle on your keyframes for whatever you want to move. I'm just gonna rotate on the X and Y axis for this tutorial. So what I like to do is start at about -20 on each. Move your cursor over and go 20 degrees in the opposite direction. Then I'm gonna highlight all the keyframes, keyframe assistant, easy ease, to smooth out the rotation, the motion. So it's playing kind of slow right now. You guys know how After Effects works. So what I'm gonna do is go up here to my composition settings, 3D renderer, options, and I'm gonna bring the quality down for now. We're gonna change that back before we export it. So there you have your rotating 3D text. What you're gonna want to do after you have your motion and all your lighting options set to whatever you like, you're gonna want to file, export, add to render queue. And actually, before we go to the render queue, we're gonna go back to the composition settings and back to the options and bump the quality back up. Hit OK. Then go back to your render queue, and then over here, output module, you're gonna want to change your RGB in the video output to RGB alpha. For some reason, I don't have the option to use RGB plus alpha, so what I do is just go change the format to something different, and then go back to your original setting. Then you can change it to RGB plus alpha. This allows it to be a transparent background. Okay, output 2. Then you can name your composition, save it to my desktop, render. So once you have that all rendered out, you're gonna want to hop into Premiere. See, I already have a video loaded up where I'm gonna overlay the text. Import. Drag it over your clip. And there you have a simple 3D text in After Effects that you can apply right over any video with no background, no extra work. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.